I do believe this means we are live. Yes, we are. Whoa. Back that off just a little bit. And why do I have oh, okay. I was like, why do we have an echo there? What is good, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Joseph, and as you can see here already, got some new graphics, new background, new logo, same basic design, just kind of a new take on it. Want to say thanks, give a shout out to designer underscore Kiara Alex for these new designs. And let's click on the right gimmick here, and we can go into what we're. Okay, so tonight I am going to be attempting to finish Undertale Yellow. I do say attempting because it is difficult. And I was looking up, I was comparing myself to some other players out there, and blow this up here. Here we go. Let's see, is that... Looks like it's a bit constrained. Looks like it's a bit constrained on... Move this over to here real quick. Yeah, it looks like it's a little smushed in, which is not good. I don't want it smushed in. So if I said that's 16 by 9, there we go. Okay, all right, now we're looking good. So, Undertale Yellow. That is what we are playing tonight. That's what we've been playing the last couple weeks here on stream. And move this window back over here, kind of out of my way, so I can game. Grab it with me trusty controller. Yeah, so we are definitely towards the end of the game. In fact, I do believe this is at least one of the final boss battles for the pacifist route. Sorry, just looking to see trying to see how the audio. I know there's a couple times, a couple different streams where game audio never went over, and which is really unfortunate because the audio in this game is fantastic. So I want to make sure, I do want to make sure the game audio goes over. There we go. At least according to my meter here, is going over. So, got Self and Martlet. Now we're going to be approaching Saroba. Saroba. I'm not sure exactly how that's pronounced. Martlet sees them, though. I see them. This way. Saroba looks stressed. sure we can negotiate her down from this, but worst comes to worst, we might have to retreat. Technically, of course. Let's listen in. Bring me to my own devices, Star. I don't know what you're saying. Please calm down. I must go to the lab. That's where Kanako is being kept. I have to get there by any means necessary. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Don't get in my way. Or what? You'll kill me. Oh. Hey. Clover and I, we watched the tapes. You need to let this go. If not, why are you here, Clover? You're supposed to be back home. No, thank you for finding me. Makes things easier. If I were you two, I'd leave Clover here and forget about this. Might not make sense to you, but it's for the best. Cut the self-righteous act, will you? Just stop it. Turn us around, sir. Yourself that Kanako is alive. Let's just find her and go back to our normal happy life. Happy life? That's rich. Lied about Kanako, Star. I had to. What? Falling down is practically a death sentence. Unless a miracle takes place at the lab, there's no hope for her. I'm trying to make the best of what I can, okay? This is all I know to do at this point. Kanako is a boss monster. She is the key to finishing Chuji's work. This is his legacy, his plan for the future. Monster Kind's only hope for survival. You speak for him? You've seen the tapes, right? Honestly, think this is what he wanted? Kanako wasn't supposed to be a factor in this. If he were here, Chujin, wrong voice. The Chujin you know? You knew nothing of him. No, that's right. We might have had some different views, but Chujin was kind to everyone. I know you are as well. Just right now, I don't understand you. I fucked Clover was reckless. You want their soul for the best. Not only Clover's, but the soul of your own. Shut up! Think I don't know how far gone I am? And where's this high horse coming from? It sounds to me like we're in this pit together. Sarova, please. Just get out of here. Let me finish what I started. You can't have Clover. We're going to Asgore, and that's that. Don't you dare. Arlette, grab Clover. I'll keep Sarova at bay. Go, now! Son of a... Clover. I'm sorry for what I've done. I almost wish you never showed up in the Wild East. Maybe then I could have continued to bury my sorrows in a saloon. Now I must follow through with my mission. I've somehow grown to respect the hell out of you, but at the end of the day, you're naive. So much you don't understand about monsters. What, you think you just jump down here and find them? 5 humans? Living out their lives unharmed? That isn't how it works. I guess you discover that truth then, right? Then what? Marlet's plan to storm Asgore's castle for revenge? Or was it simply a plead for a free ticket back to the surface? 2 more souls to shatter the barrier. Freaking fingernails underneath the gimmick there. So yeah, juice monster. It's Aussie lemonade style. Here's the thing about Aussie lemonade. If you're watching this and you're one of my friends from Australia, you know this. But Aussie lemonade, it's Sprite, 7-Up. So it's like lemon lime flavored soda energy drink, which is essentially a soda, also with just different ingredients. So it's like a soda flavored soda. What it is. But I know I'm going to lose this first one. I'll probably lose the second one. Hell, I might even lose the third. This battle's going to be tough. But just take a second to make that one. Here I am about to lose the very second. But at least with Jujut's guidance, could save countless monster lives. Who couldn't understand that? Asgore's a coward. Didn't believe in my husband at all. He thinks problems will just disappear if he closes the curtains. I want freedom as much as anyone, but he doesn't consider what will happen once he gets his soul. Everyone else too. They all believe victory will come easy, but the humans I've heard of, powerful, ruthless. As soon as we try to leave, they'll stuff us right back into this hellhole. They want our misery to fester until we give up and die out. I am no better than Master scale on a scale of morality, I'm sure. What I am is proactive. Monster kind is worth protecting, so I will see that it is done. Truthfully, I have nothing left in life, so I've made peace with throwing it away. You'll fight back, but you can't forever. Goodbye. No turning back. Try to talk to Robo, but her attention is centered. I don't entirely remember what comes up next. I haven't HP was back there. Damn it. Down the roof. Why? Was not able to. Damn it. Stop having to use items every time? Why won't you die? I don't die. Robin tries to ignore the kiss of her friend. Why? Michael. Ah, damn it. There's one. Don't let this backstabber win. Not on my watch. Flowey. Flowey the flower. Pretty bad. Look at that broken tree. Basically the same as last time. Take a breath. Work slow, but fully purple. Killing free. Ah, dang it. Still, only one hit. That's not bad. That's 25 of 20. So I'm still technically above maximum HP. HP if you're European. Biscuit. Made it further last time. Okay, it's actually better that time. Or with stairs into your soul. Ah! 20 to 20. Each battle cannot go above 20. Ah! You eat spicy slider, but like the theme, its flavor is ambitious. Your HP was maxed out. Why? Damn it. Hit with every one of those. Okay. Why won't you die? Damn it. There, I died. Are you happy? Yeah. Quit. Why won't you quit killing me? Notice I keep coming back. See, that's the thing. To her, it just happened. It's to her. Your last battle. If you understand how Undertale works, then that's fine. But if you don't, basically every time you reset, or in the case of Undertale Yellow, always resets for you, you're literally dragged back in time before the battle happens. So when you win your battle, her, it was this battle. He never defeats. He has no idea he beat me several times. The one, gets hit by everything. Monster can't. Like that. The one criticism I might have of, I don't know how you're supposed to avoid that. And you get hit with it, you're stun locked. You can't move. Close to our goal. Don't mess it up. These acts. The one thing the one criticism I will have towards Undertale Yellow is in the majority of that, like in Undertale, all your acts have different things. Some of them, some of them, they don't really do anything, or they don't do anything until you do them in a certain order or whatever. You can check, but none of these other, like, okay, if I go to check right now, Robo, that could be, it's like, yeah. The other three, you've already seen what they do. There is no effect on this battle whatsoever. Hell. Fair, but nothing. I'm sure there's going to be an expert yellow player that's like, you're not even anywhere close to finishing this battle, and I'm sure I'm not. Right there, we do not want to be on the left or right side because we're going to be all the way to one side because we're going to get hit with something we won't even see. Damn it, still got stumbled. Damn it! Freaking bullet hell pattern. Technically, that's all of Undertale's bullet hell pattern, but not like true bullet hell. Even that's not really true bullet hell. I dodged only to get hit by everything. Just fucking win. I'm not even close. That's the thing. It's like this is these are the opening salvos. We ain't seen nothing yet. I'm certain of that. Robot white sweat her brow. Nice. HP, what's that guy? Why? Not bad, not bad. Why won't you die? I don't die. I was cool. I was moving. Okay, that time I just got hit. But the orange ones you can move through. In fact, you have to move through them. Blue ones don't move. That last one I got hit by the white gimmick. I got hit by the actual, I don't know if that's bomb or whatever that is. I got hit by that. There. But there was a couple of those hits there where I'm like, bro, I got hit by the orange shockwave. You move through those. Like, I don't know. There was a battle earlier on in the game where the same thing happened where I was moving, but that was kind of an easy pattern. Ah! Damn it. Goddamn! Get that one. Yeah. Get hit. Stop getting hit. Why won't you die? Orange. Ah. Orange. God damn it. Seriously. Why? I can see it, but I can't, because of the damn whirlpool in the center, I can't move in time. I didn't mean to attack. Yeah, I did no damage. Damn it. Ah! Hell, I moved right. Nice. Ah! Right in. This is gonna be the entire stream, guys. This is spend the next 2 hours losing over and over and over and over and over and over. No, I don't want to fight. Ah! Damn it! Locked anyway. Trying to finish the thing. Keep insisting upon winning. I can't finish this if you keep winning. I know that's not flowy, but the game all the way down to the damn bottom. Knowing goddamn good and well they're going to do that. know I got 15, but I just need to get good at bullet hell, basically. Ah! I got stun locked. I couldn't move anyway. Trying to not get hit once, to get hit twice. Ah! Are you serious, bro? Damn God. Ah! Can't hit twice any damn way. Ah! Want a tip for first attack? Sure. Thanks for coming by the way. Grand Gaming YouTube. Check you out on YouTube. Playing in Windows mode. So apparently you can stand in one of the bottom corners and go down. I'll likely be trying that very shortly. Nice. Chilling breeze envelops the area. Take a breath. The world moves slow, but only for a moment. Damn it. Ah. Still entering the... Ah, well. Walk right into the sunlight. Like I said, I'll be trying this here shortly because I'm not gonna make it past here. Yo, nice work. I don't know why I'm looking down. I'm looking down at this screen here. I got one screen up here. I got one screen down here. I'm all. Yo, guy in my chat down here on this screen down here. Camera's right here. What's the camera? But that's all it takes. Hey, it's a start. Thank you. It is a start. Oh, okay, nice. But no, seriously, thanks for that. That makes things seem like it's possible. I don't know if it is. I'm sure somebody has done an AI-assisted speed run of this where they've completed. What's it called? Tool assisted speed run. Pass. Nice. Robot wipe from her brow. Damn. Took you 12 tries and say your average skill level. As you can probably see, I'm an Oldhead Gamer, which means Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Combat on Atari 2600. Yeah, I'm Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers. I'm born a Super Mario Brothers nerd. War phase. Each phase has a checkpoint. Oh, okay, well that's good. Make it through even one phase here. Hey, easy for me to say. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for that tip. I will definitely be keeping that in mind. Thank you so much, and hope to see you again. Let's see, and if YT means that you are on YouTube, Trend Gaming YT, I'll be sure to check you out on YouTube as well. So, thanks for coming by. Damn it! Ah! Get hit by everything. I ain't gonna make it past here. Horrible. Like this letter, much like the team, its flavor is ambitious. It's backed out. Man. Seriously, bro. I am almost certain whenever I upload this to YouTube, it might just be randomly selected by Twitch. Also, there's a pretty damn good chance that this will be the screen cap. Game over screen. Why would you put it clear on the opposite side where it's like you have no God damn it. What is even the line? You have no chance to survive. No. You have no chance to survive, make your time. Ha 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 ha. All your bases are belong to us. Really, bro? Okay, anyway. Why? Why won't you die? 'Cause I don't die. That's bullshit right there. That's even with the blue shockwave, it's unavoidable because you can't move through the blue shockwave, so it's gonna drop right on your ass. You're gonna get hit. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. Why? I don't concede it's over. Die! I was moving, bro. I was moving there too. Okay, that time I wasn't moving. Half that goddamn attack is bullshit because I was moving. When they're orange, you move. I was moving. How did I get hit? Now, at the end, sure, okay. At the end, I was dropped into bullet hell segment and. I'm like, at that point, I could just set the controller down. You're gonna get hit with 3 of them. In the first one, there's you get hit with 3 of them in the first wave. Just set the controller down. There's no reason to bother trying. God damn it! Still gonna complete the capacity group overall, but well, okay, you're not even gonna let me fucking do anything. Then I guess I won't. Battle system is worse than Undertale. Undertale is designed to be bad. Anyway. I don't die. That was mine. Die! I don't remember what happened. Ha! Uh-oh. Whew! Okay, end of phase. Yeah, no real way to avoid it. As you can notice by your HP going sub-zero. Big shot. Now's your chance to be a big shot. Be a big man shot. So let's come to this. My last resort. This is my last resort. For Chujin. For Kanako. Put on this mask. And this mask makes me a badass. For the future of monster kind! All I had to do was stay on that one side. All I had to do was stay on that one side. It's time to take rub it down for good. I agree. This is a whole Oh hell. God damn it. Oh, okay. Check, hope, endure, remember. These are different, okay. Endure. You refuse to back down. Yo! Gain 98 HP, okay. Get down on the think of those you love most. Speed temporarily increases. That could be good or bad. Petals rain from the heavens. Let's hope. Hold on to hope. Defense, nice. God damn. All right. Okay, so endure. Gain 5 HP. Oh. What does that say? A mother's love. You're back down. Gain 8 HP. You need to keep your guard up at all times. Don't find Robo stops. Her stop story is dick. She's just handling it. Absolute worst way possible. Damn it. Yo! Mayhem has been unleashed. possible. We're in the second stage of this. It's weird because it's challenging, but like this one seems more fair. And the first one doesn't seem unfair, just extremely goddamn difficult. Plus, anybody that comes by the chat, you know, anytime anybody comes by the chat, Yo. What this? What would you like to wear tomorrow, honey? Solomon and Tina are paying a visit and bring them food too. I'll help you up and we can all enjoy a picnic on the front porch. How's that sound? The robot. Yes? I don't. This is also pitiful. Hey, don't say that. We don't need to have anyone over. It could just be us. Dick sounds lovely. Tanaka to have one, surrounded by friends. What are you saying? I wasn't afraid of it all my life, but now it's so close. No. Shut up. Stop it. He's dying. Say it like it is. Say it like it is or don't say anything. I can't do this. Not now. There's something I must tell you. We never talked about it much, did we? I hope his voice, again, I'm not super great with voices. I hope his voice doesn't sound too much like with Starlo. I'm trying to go to the Starlo. I'm trying to go to the Clint Eastwood rough cowboy accent. Where with Chujin here, I'm trying to do like, I don't know, kind of like the and I know I'm not doing anywhere close to this, but I'm trying to do like Splinter from Ninja Turtles. That's what I'm in my mind. I know that's probably not the voice. When you heard my voice, that's probably not what came to mind, but that's where I was trying to go with it. So. What? Always there. I work towards a project. Something much bigger than myself, bigger than all of us. I don't understand. I recorded a message for you. When I'm done, I would like you to view it. Will you do that for me? I will. I promise you, I will. I haven't seen tears from you since we met. Let's do them for the moments that matter. Because this moment matters. Yo, Kanako right there? Kanako? Kanako. Probably pronounced Kanako. What? What was that? Were you in my head just now? You have no right! Oh, but it takes supposed to avoid dishes? How the hell am I supposed to avoid that? Is that even avoidable? Oh, and great. You couldn't at least start me up back at 20 HP. I mean, I have killing items, so you don't move through blue. You stand still through blue. You move through orange. Also, that shows that the attack is not going to be the same. So there's no point in... So there appears to be no point in trying to memorize a pattern, because the pattern is not going to be the same. Which sucks. Ah! We are close to our goal, though. That's the thing. Now, I happen to agree with her when she says you have no right. The problem is, I didn't have nothing to do with it. Prepare yourself for whatever comes next. Do I, though? Am I, though? Maybe I am. That was a pretty good turn, I think. God damn. So that sets off this little girl. Tanaka. She needs to live a happy life unaffected by money. Oh wait, no, this is Chujin, huh? That is my final wish. So this is Kanako, huh? The little girl. Kanako, what are you doing down here? Is it true? What? Like different? Kanako. Daddy said he would live a long time if I wasn't here. He would still be. No, no. Father loved you. He didn't want to put you in any danger. You heard him. His dream. All these books and papers. You've been trying to finish it, haven't you? My limited abilities. Yes. But it doesn't apply. I've been looking into ways to create the serum without a loss on me. Figure it out. I have to. But I found this in the trash. I figured it out last week. Leftover extract from the human soul. I believe I have removed any corruption it held. Need someone pure of heart, yes. So you did it! Daddy's wish could come true, right? We could make him smile, make him proud of us. But he didn't want you to be a part of this, and I had to. Let me do it! I want to make things right. Be useful for once. And I trust you to keep me safe. This is going to end badly, isn't it? I do believe the refined method would work. Just please promise you would make his dream come true. He did. Very well. But I'll make it quick. I'll ensure your safety throughout the procedure, all right? Making it quick is probably probably what went wrong. We'll be the heroes of the underground. All thanks to you and Daddy. Heroes, huh? That has a nice ring to it. Okay, wait here. You will need to stand very still for this. And I will begin the fusion extraction. You may feel a pinch or two, but it'll all be over before you know it. Understood? Understood. You truly believe this, don't you? Yeah. Hmm. Love you lots. Love you more. Okay. Extraction from the soul. Damn it. No! No, 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 no. Why didn't it work? Kanako, wake up. Wake up right now. Mommy's here. Come on. Hey. What? Damn. What have I done? You extracted power from her soul. I say so. I mean, when you're going to mess with such things, you know, I'm just saying. So you know the truth now. Are you satisfied? Find joy in making me relive my darkest memories? Never claimed to be a saint. Drowning in a sea of mistakes like anyone else. But instead of sinking, chasing the one ray of sunlight peeking through the surface, I tried letting go, moving on. I guess deep down I'm too stubborn to live. This is my fate. This is how it must be. Right now, being 10 HP. Ah. Well. Alright, stream is not ending. I want to point this out. I am not ending stream right now. I am too goddamn close to finishing this off. But just brush them over real quick, so I'm gonna be right back, okay? All right. We on? We are on, okay. Alright, yo, why is it so... Hold on. What's the point of using a, what is the point of using a webcam? I could have swore it was not that dark. Just a few moments ago. on my watch. Okay, well, let's see. Not on my watch either. I just... We're so close. We are so ridiculously close. So I know it's good now. Yes, that's all that. Have no items remaining. I don't know how I'm supposed to make it through this. Do I have to hear this? Do I have to hear this every time though? Like, where was I supposed to go? Six HP. Wow, yeah, I'm gonna make it far with that. I'll make a single fucking hit. Nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. You have no. I don't know how anybody gets past that. I take as much joy in making you relive that moment as Maui takes making me relive your monologue. How did I get... My question is, how did I get in that corner? I didn't even press that direction. What? I didn't press that direction. How am I in that corner? Insert cat jam right about here. How did I get from there to there? I'm not even saying I didn't get hit. I'm just saying, how did I get from there to, like, what? That wasn't where I even was. I was moving. There's an orange attack. I was moving. That means it shouldn't have hit me. That's how that works. Desperate chaos and all around. That 5 HP ain't gonna be in jack, bro. Fair, I was moving. There was a blue attack, and I moved. Subville. When did this game come out? This came out. I'm wanting to say late November of last year. Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, this is at least I think this is the final boss for the pacifist route. Of course, Undertale likes to throw in an additional final boss sometimes. Hey, welcome in, by the way, though. You know, I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, what's up, little guy? No, hey, thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming by. This is actually a, what's it called? Sorry, my mind shuts off sometimes. This is a 4-stage battle, and this is stage 4. So, first stage, pretty damn difficult. Last stage, pretty damn difficult. The middle two weren't bad. They're challenging, but fun. But this one, working, waiting on a delivery. Whenever, however, wherever you're coming from, thank you for coming by. Thought you stop in. Hey, thank you for doing so. Yeah, I'm gonna maybe another hour or so. I'm gonna, well, hopefully it doesn't take too long, but it probably will. I'm gonna try to beat this boss, and then whatever whatever comes after that. So yeah. Thanks for stopping in. Hope to be able to catch one of your streams as well sometime here pretty soon. Just been really like hella busy the last couple of weeks, and then this week's not too bad, but I'm freaking like not so bad at the moment. But I work overnight, and so I come in and I'm just freaking tired in the morning, and so guys like Paul Castles and all them people I like to check out. I am just, you haven't streamed and lost your VODs. I mean, I lose my VODs all the time. The good thing is if you lose a VOD, like I lost all my VODs of my original Undertale playthrough. I can kind of go back and just play it again on stream. I can't lie and say it's the first time because I'm gonna know what happens. But next week though, hey, that's great. Yeah, whenever at the end of the stream, at least on Twitch, first thing I do is I just go in and download it, and then I end up uploading it to YouTube. I don't even bother editing. The only thing I might edit is at the very end, whenever I go off stream. Whenever I go off stream and it gives you that blue, not like this guy, the guy with the that's included in part that's downloaded, and I'm like, yeah, there's a reason. I had stopped streaming minutes ago, and I'm like, I gotta clear out like 5-10 minutes of just this, and I'm like, yeah, it's over. That's why it's. But let me. Time to take Robot down for good. Yeah, I'm trying. So this is the only thing is I gotta sit through the final monologue here each time. So you know the truth now. Are you satisfied? You find joy in making me relive my darkest memories? I never claimed to be a saint. I'm drowning in a sea of mistakes like anyone else. But instead of sinking, I'm chasing the one ray of sunlight peeking through the surface. I tried letting go, moving on. But I guess deep down I'm too stubborn to live like this is my fate. This is how it must be. Insert anime boss sequence. Power over 9,000. Popping it when you can. Yeah, you tend to stream later on, which the good part is I'm awake, but I usually have to watch by mobile because my lovely bosses at work block Twitch they put a block on Twitch, so I can't go to Twitch on my PC at I can go to Kick. Go figure. And Kick's got, which, you know, I'm saying this knowing damn well I'm streaming to Twitch and Kick both at the same time, but learn about Kick, auto mod. I'll follow that. Come on, I see. Come on, auto mod. I say far worse than that. I always tell people, it's called cussing like a sailor for a reason, right? I was a sailor. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. I was a sailor. It's called cuss like a sailor. So, I'm glad Automod, this is the first time, I believe this is the first time Automod ever tripped on here, so that's good. I just don't want, you know, you're awesome. No, thank you for your service. Thank you. Let's go. So I'll see you. Awesome. Hey, what's up, Bill? Thank you for coming in. And yeah, I'll try to catch you guys if you guys are watching this on YouTube or wherever, whenever, however you're watching this. You know, check out Subbell. Subbell, you know, he streams occasionally. And I'm not trying to even say that jokingly because I stream occasionally. I'm trying to get more, what's the word I'm looking for? Work. Consistent. I'm trying to get more consistent about it. But, I believe when I played my first playthrough, I don't even want to say playthrough, because this is still my first playthrough. My first session of playing Undertale Yellow, I think I went like 2 weeks in between streams. So, or, yeah, 2 weeks stream, yeah. That's right? Anyway, and it's especially difficult during winter sports season because fall sports is easy because I know I have games Thursdays and Fridays. If our team is at home, I know we'll have Thursdays and Fridays. During basketball season though, it can be any day of the week, and usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. Usually, and the thing is, you know, I'm also working my full-time job during that. So I'm working my full-time job, you know, 44 hours a week, coming off of a 12-hour shift, regularly scheduled 12-hour shift on Monday, coming home, crashing out for like a little bit, and then going to do basketball. I'm a public address announcer, so I'm the guy that's whenever, you know, whenever somebody scores, you know, a basket, and, you know, 3-point basket, number 24, Johnson. Assist number 32, whatever, you know, Harvard foul number 21, this person, first personal, team foul number 2. I'm that guy. So, like, I'll go do that, come back home, sleep again for like an hour, and then turn around and go right back to work. But I'll come back here Wednesday morning, and it's not that I don't want to stream, I'm tired. Right? Like I have effectively just worked back-to-back 12-hour shifts. So that's anyway. Let's get back to this and we endure here, and then I gotta bounce back to the back. Yeah, that didn't go well. That didn't go well at all. Backstabber win? Not on my watch. Why don't you do something about it then, Flowey? This is your fate, yeah. Let's go. Let's go! fault. Rope is a monthly plane. Gain 10 HP, yes. Okay. I know that only gets me back to where I was, but considering that damn it. Not bad, not bad. Alright. Let's get some more HP. 85 HP. Alright, we are. Oh, that was smart. That's just it's just so much to dodge. You keep your guard up at all times. Don't buy into the rope to stop. Yeah. So yeah. So Trend Gaming YT and Subbell, thank you for coming in. Along with anybody, you know, if you're lurking, if you're sitting at home watching, I lurk all the time. I go into somebody's chat. I'll say hi. And that might be the only thing that I say because, for whatever reasons. So, you know, and sometimes I'll just go into somebody's chat. I won't even say hi. You know, I just want to, you know, for a lot of my friends who are smaller streamers, I just want to, you know, basically give them a little support, get that number up by one. Bigger streamers, you know, like I said, I'll say hi and then I'll basically sit back and watch the show. Or I might be doing something off on the side. Point is, though, get to the point, asshole. The point is, even if you're just sitting at home watching, chilling, doing something else, thank you for doing so. Thank you for helping to support this stream in any way. If you're sitting at home and you log in to Twitch and you come to my channel and watch and you can't stand my voice and you put me on mute and go off to do whatever the hell it is you're doing, that view still counts. Thank you. So, are you satisfied? Okay. Any support I can get. Thank you. People have said about me in the past. I'm not a shy individual. I'm boring. Like, people haven't said that I'm boring. People have said that I'm shy. I'm not shy. I'm boring. There's a difference. If I don't say anything, it's because I can't think of anything good to say. Well, that didn't go too bad. 5 HP. That's just too much to dodge for. I know this is likely the end. Damn, like, again though, it's an Undertale game. They might throw some shit out of left field. And yeah, I wouldn't doubt that Flowey has something in mind. Let me go right up to it. Let me go right up to it. Whap! Walk right into it. Retry. I think what I need to do is that first attack, don't fire at all. I don't think it's doing anything. Just focus on dodging. And die anyway. Finish this thing. I'm trying! I'm trying to finish this thing. Yes, I know the truth now. Yes, I feel good about it. I'm happy. I enjoy it. I enjoy your suffering. I mean, I don't, but, like, after this many attempts, after a while, I'm like, you know, I don't think I care anymore. So I guess you can't. Guess you can't use B to shift through that. All right. Thought I did that earlier, but I guess not. I don't know what the hell I did then. Oh. Wait, what did I get hit by? If it's that little, if it's one of them fountain gimmicks, that's one hell of a fucking hitbox. Hitbox well outside the widest point of it. Nice. I was stun locked. I couldn't move. Yo, I was moving right there, though. Guys, I don't know if we're going to finish this tonight. I don't know that I can account for a number of straight up bullshit hits that I wasn't hit. Or I shouldn't have. Well, I was hit. I shouldn't have been hit. I don't know that I can overcome that tonight. We're so damn close, though. Yo, I got hit by that anyway? Blue attack so you can't move, but you can't move so you got stun locked. You got stun locked so you got hit by another goddamn attack. Because you avoided an attack, you got hit by another one. Basically, there's nowhere for you to go. Something I thought the original Undertale did a good job of, even in the sand fight. Sand fight requires a high level of precision, right? Like, you can make a few mistakes and be okay, but I'm saying, like, it's a test of how precise you can be. It's very, very difficult, but not unfair. If you lose, it's because you didn't play well. It demands you play extremely well. Let's say the sand fight wasn't really unfair. Some of these attacks have been kind of unfair. You're gonna get hit regardless of what you do. Okay, that was my that was poor execution on my part. Like, but there's games that are far. I really wish that better than that. That was poor gameplay on my part. I do wish, because like how much you can heal is largely dependent on RNG, and again, I am an Oldhead Gamer. If there are Oldhead watchers, RNG means random number generation. And when something is based on, okay, see, this time I got 18. When something is based on RNG, it's really, really difficult. Like, you can't really go by a pattern, because there is no pattern. Unless you can figure out the RNG, much RNG that's not really as random as it seems. I don't think we're completing this tonight, guys. Even though we are at, at least according to Trend Gaming, this should be stage 4. He said there's, well, okay. Again, old head moment here, okay? I have old head moments. I'm an old guy, okay? I'm 46 years old. I'm old. I am old, and I am old by Twitch standards, even though there are people on Twitch as old or older, but generally speaking, I am not in my 20s and 30s. When I say, I said he, I don't know that Trend Gaming YT is he. Could be he, could be she. Could be in between, I don't know. Okay? So that's why there is at the bottom of the screen there, you know, occasionally a little disclaimer will come up. Okay. Yes, I say he because in the English language it is more familiar to say that, but I do not mean to assume somebody's gender. If that is not in fact a he, I apologize. No disrespect intended. It says it right there. No disrespect intended. No disrespect intended, okay? I'm just wrong. And I admit it. If that's the case, if I'm wrong. If I'm not, then I'm saying this whole damn thing for absolutely nothing. I'm just, and fine, I'm covering, CYOA, cover your own ass, okay? And that's what I'm doing, okay? I'm covering my 6, all right? If I'm wrong, I apologize, okay? No disrespect intended. I want to make sure, not even just for Friend Gaming YT, but for anybody who's watching. Did you just assume their gender? Not intentionally, but I guess I kind of did. And so I'm just throwing that out there, okay? Okay, I'm an old head, all right. I'm over 45, I'm 46. That'll give me my exact age. I'm 46 years old. I'll be 47 in October. I come from a different time. I come from a different world, okay? You know, things operate a little different. So yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. No disrespect intended if I botched. If I didn't, then we're all good. But I'm, like I said, covering my 6 here. So as I was saying, I apologize. My microphone might be a little too close. As I was saying, though, they said that this is a 4-stage thing, and so this should be stage 4. So this should be, I should be near the end, and it kind of makes sense that I should be toward the end of this battle. That's the only reason I'm continuing here right now. I just don't know that I'm gonna be able to actually complete it tonight. Remember what I said earlier about having a full-time job? I gotta go back to work tonight. Which means I gotta get a little bit of rest, and I gotta get a little bit ready to go to work. You know, I stream when I can. That's good that worked out the way it did, because I had nowhere to go. For that reason right there. Yes, yes. Anyway. 9 HP. Watch that up real quick. Fortunately, that shockwave was a blue attack, which means but then I got stun locked right there. I was trying to use the B button to dash out of that, and then I got stun locked, and it didn't matter. Initially, very first attack. The camera kind of reverses it, so when you're like that, This might be my final attempt of the evening. Unless I just get obliterated right off the bat. I'm not gonna complete this tonight. That shiz is hard, and it's largely hard. It's again, like I said, compared to Undertale, it's hard in a not entirely fair fashion. One more shot. One more shot. This is the run. This is the run. I get knocked out immediately. Yeah. Yeah, we're done. God damn! That is it is difficult. Not just difficult, right? It's difficult. And it is not entirely fair how hard it is. All right, well, yeah, like I said, this is gonna be the that's gonna be the end of this stream here tonight. I can guarantee you, I virtually guarantee you, I will not be on stream, at least not gaming, at all this weekend. I get to work more overtime. People's like, yeah, it's good for a paycheck. It's not good if you're falling asleep at work. But anyhow, I get to work more overtime this Friday. Woohoo! And then I think we got something. I think we got some family stuff coming up on Saturday. At some point this weekend, I need to do laundry. And then right back to work next week. So, yeah, I can personally guarantee that I will not be doing anything on stream this weekend, which means on Kick, I'll probably be doing our AFK marathon stream again Monday, maybe in a Tuesday morning. We'll see how that goes. And then Wednesday, we'll be back here, and I'll spend a couple of hours, probably spending literally the entire time trying to beat Saroba. So, Saroba, however you say her damn name. Because that battle is hard. But I want to say thank you for everybody who came in. Trend Gaming YT, Subville, anybody who's watching. If you're watching live, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Kick, if you're watching the VOD, if you're watching however, whenever, wherever, and why ever it is you are watching, thank you for doing so. Like I said, we'll be back on Wednesday to try to finish this thing off. Until then, my name's Joseph, and we are out this bitch.